Solheim Cup team playing in the final pair with the young Aussie, the 23-year-old from Sydney, Grace Kim.
4 pars to start for both these players. And
a fumble in LA earlier this season, really looking for redemption.
And here is Grace, one of those 3 at 12 under, playing the 6th.
With another wedge in hand. This is the club she hit on the last par 3, the last hole that set up birdie. Oh, not a good bounce there. Just carried it a little too far.
Grace Kim for birdie at 6.
Really challenging putt speed-wise. Level at first, then quite a big downhill slope.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Guess it wasn't such a bad bounce after all, Kay.
I would not have given her any chance of making that.
Even they could see it in her reaction, like, oh, okay. We'll take it.
Located similar to where it was round 1.
Morgan, you mentioned the struggle that Grace had on the weekend at Wilshire. Did not make a birdie. Began the weekend with a 4-shot lead and was in tears at times on the back 9 Sunday, but then went on Instagram later and said, I wasn't crying because I shot a poor round and a couple of bad rounds in a row. It was all of the fans trying to cheer me up. It just touched me that they were trying to elevate me as I was struggling. It's a sweet moment.
That's a 6-iron on the way, Morgan, and she struck it beautifully.
Wonderful shot there. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was a really tough weekend for Grace. Her putter apps the ball a little bit left, but caught the right edge.
And now Grace to go up by 2.
Morgan, I was speaking with Grace's swing coach, Con Pullen. He's Australian, from Sydney, runs the golf program in New South Wales, that state in Australia. And one of the things they decided recently was to have Drew read the putts. He's such a good reader of greens, and that's not one of Grace's strengths. And for now, kind of putting the green reading on Drew's hands until she kind of evolves a little bit more and can become more independent and trusting her own reads.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're out there as a team. Use, you know, if you feel like you're not seeing the lines as well. Drew is a fabulous green reader. And another birdie for Grace, 2 in a row.
And Grace is a quick study. She won her 5th start as a rookie last year. Has a history of winning early on each tour she's played. 2023 thumb injury, but she is playing at a high level. So is Grace Kim as she tees it up at the par 5/8.
Yeah, the first of the reachable par 5s. Between Grace and Allie, they've eagled this hole 3 times already.
At the par 5/8, our leader, Grace Kim.
Yeah, stepped off the shot a little. That breeze that's picking up kind of laid down. Now it's back hurting from the right. This is a 5-wood. Wind drifting it a little left. Oh, just didn't clear that bunker. She was trying to get it up that gap just on the front of the green.
Yeah, it'll leave it really long.
All right. At the par 5/8, Grace Kim's 3rd. Just a moment ago.
25-yard bunker shot. Good lie.
Yeah, she just chunked it, Kay.
Just 5 birdies at that 13th today. 81 players made the cut at -2. And take a look at our insights by KPMG. And Grace Kim, 4.5 strokes gained per round. And Morgan, this is with 5 3-putts through 36 holes, a share of the lead nonetheless.
Yeah, the 5 3-putts is quite shocking to me. One, the greens are not all of that big. And two, she hasn't proven that. That has not continued today. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, she can't continue to make all those 3 putts if she wants to win here.
No, I think, well, I definitely saw a couple of them on Thursday in that windy day where she had some pretty lengthy birdie putts that she just didn't judge the speed correctly. But this one's manageable, just inside of 30 feet. She knows she can be a little aggressive with it. Uphill. And that's the first par she's made on this hole this week. Eagled at the first.
At the 9th, our leader, Grace Kim.
Little confused by the wind. You hear Karen talking about it. It kind of keeps picking up and then lying down a little bit. Overall, it is hurting going into this 9th hole. Grace has a 5-iron out, and I think this is the club she can go ahead and hit hard without worrying about it going over. Yeah, she probably just was a bit between her 5-iron and 4-iron.
Willing to find that penalty area.
So she'll be working hard. That was her 3rd shot. She'll have a 4th at the par 5 in a moment. We take you back to our final pair at the 9th. And this is the 23-year-old Aussie, Grace Kim. She won her 3rd start as a member of the LPGA Tour. She had played a couple of LPGA events before that. Yet another protege of Kari Webb.
Exactly. She's a 4-time Kari Webb Scholarship recipient, the most anyone has earned that scholarship. I remember meeting her at Hazeltine when she was there following Hannah Green around as Hannah won her first major championship, and she stayed with Hannah, and what an experience for her to just soak all that in and see what it's like to be a professional and learn from Kari and learn from Hannah. And Hannah was a Kari Webb Scholarship recipient twice.
Morgan, you can't really learn from anyone better than Kari Webb, can you?
No, it's truly amazing what Kari has done for women's golf in Australia. And we see it week in, week out on tour. Consistently, there are Australians in the mix each and every week. And it's been very impressive. Getting stuck behind her a little bit.
We're back at the 9th. Kay, that looked like almost a full shoulder turn from Grace Kim with that birdie attempt from long range. Now this for par.
Yeah, it certainly was. She had an 80-footer, being that she was just a couple paces onto the green with this hole all the way back. Now an important par save.
She was really solid, kept her head down through that putt, stayed very much in her posture. Beautiful stroke.
Jiwan Jian playing with Titakun. That's Grace Kim, our leader. She's at the 10th.
A little bit of chaos going on this hole. Grace drove it in the right bunker, could not advance it more than about 110 yards. She was very close to the front lip. Therefore, she has quite the distance in for her 3rd.
With the wind and everything, pretty close to normal one's good.
Okay. At our green hole sign.
Yes, exactly.
191 yards to the front, 198 to the hole. Gonna go with the 5-iron. Same club she hit into the last green. Wind helping, so this will be a little bit downhill and downwind. Just trying to get it to the front of the green.
Oh, gets a nice little bounce up, like up and over the cross bunker there, short of the green. All in all, well done, trying to recover from that poor tee shot.
Making a par feels like you're stealing one. Here's the 4th for Kim in front of the 10th.
Going with the more lofted wedge. Plenty of green to work with.
Oh, but she didn't quite get that catch. Okay, like a check. It almost seem like it was hit that solidly.
All right, let's see if how Karen is handling. I was in the early wave touring Jay Brewers, and I can confirm, delightful. Grace Kim, par at 10.
Not so delightful on this green right now.
No.
I mean, the way this final group has played this hole, it's playing poor tee shots on the par threes.
Now Grace Kim.
Also going with 8-iron. I think she can go ahead and hit this full. Definitely don't want to go long here.
She wasn't very happy with that swing, like she'd lost a good bit to the right, but that is just fine.
Pars at 11 and 13, pinned today, but now bogeys at 14, and she'll drop one at least at 16. All right, this is Grace Kim at the 11th for a birdie.
And Morgan, this is a point where someone like Grace, who hasn't had the best putting stats this year and who is kind of trying to work through that, needs to just not let that miss of the last hole influence your confidence or affect your confidence at all. It's like, just let it go, on to the next, and try your best to hold this putt.
Yeah, have to have a really short memory, Kay, and just refocus. This is a good opportunity to really take control of this event again. And that was somewhat perplexing right there. Looked like she pulled it maybe a little bit from our angle. Also not a great read.
Yeah, it looked like it should be a left to right breaking putt, but she probably overdid.
But a par at a tough par 3. And she'll maintain that lead. Ryan O'Toole playing the par 5 18th, the chance to catch or maybe pass.
Can't quite tell if that found the bunker or not.
And now Grace Kim.
Grace going with driver and just going to blow it past those bunkers. A little bit of strategy on this tee box. It's not the longest hole, but you just have to feel comfortable with what you're hitting off the tee.
Ooh.
Greenside bunker kind of juts out, sort of protecting the middle right side of the.
Grace Kim's tee shot was in the fairway for most of the time after it hit the ground, but now this is what she has for her second.
Not a good lie at all. It's rather clumpy in the primary rough. She's going to have to gouge this out. Oh, is that going to be enough to clear? Yeah, that was pretty darn good from that lie. Took the appropriate wedge out.
All right, so birdie putts for our final pair coming up at the 12th. To play off to Nelly Corda, Palos Verdes, back in March, Southern California. And Allison Corpuz is going to have a short birdie putt at the 15th at the moment. But first, Grace Kim has this for birdie at the 12th.
This is a big week for Grace. She kind of was going through a little bit of a lull. Had missed the cut at Mizuho and ShopRite. Didn't play in the U.S. Women's Open. And when she has weeks off and she's over here in the United States, she tends to go down to Orlando, where the Australian national team has a house where a lot of the Australian players, both men and women, can go and just relax and take time away. It's sort of their temporary home. Similar putt back uphill.
Yeah, just so many putts, especially
To the Toledo area, had a chance to win there. This is going to be her best chance to win since last summer. Back we go to the 12th, and Morgan, Kay just mentioned it. A couple of missed cuts. Not shocking, though, is it, after the difficult, emotional weekend where she had the lead, the big lead going into Saturday, round 3 at the JM Eagle. Not shocking to see that Grace would struggle a bit right after that, is it?
I mean, it can be rattling, no question. You in that position, you feel like you at least want to put up a very top finish, and it was a real struggle of a weekend. And I think getting confidence back, Kay, with the putter has really been the key.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is a different type of golf course than.
She's going to have a chance tomorrow. Across the bridge of Sai will go our final pair. And Kay, can you see them from where you are all the way back across the Rogue River? Man, it's a long way back there.
It's sure.
She's a good ball striker, yeah. And yet had not hit her best on a couple of the previous par 3s, and now Grace Kim.
Pretty good swing as well with a nice line.
Yeah, really good looking golf swing.
Great job.
How about those 2 shots?
Well, 3 majors left. Definitely a lot of points and Rolex rankings up for grabs.
A couple of birdie putts at the 13th. Here's Grace Kim.
Pretty speedy downhill. How about the couple of long putts she's made on the par 3s?
She's birdied 3 par 3s already.
The hardest hole on the golf course. Only 6 birdies so far today on this hole. Had a beautiful shot off the tee and paid it off.
Flagstick with her tee shot into the hole with her birdie putt, and off they go to 14 with Kim on top by 1.
I was impressed.
Didn't allow that putter to go back very far.
Grace Kim at 14.
Sure, she slotted that one beautifully. That is going to be long and straight.
Now this final pair manages to avoid that penalty area on the left that we have seen catch.
It's this week, but none today for Allison Corpuz. Stays at 13 under. Well, now she's trailing by 1 because Grace Kim is the farthest back that anyone had ever come after round 1. She was around 100th after round 1. Went on to win. Grace Kim at 14.
After that huge tee shot. Needs to climb one more little crest there. Gosh, only had 5 iron left into this hole.
And Grace Kim on top by 1 and a chance to add to it. Meanwhile, 2 absolute beauties.
That's kind of always a good way to think about it when you get into trouble. Think, how can I make par, typically? But this is a par 5. Being, okay, how can I make birdie? How can I give myself a putt for birdie? And
see AI1 putters for Eagle at 14.
That was a really nice roll. I mean, she gave that a legitimate chance. It looked in the hole. And now just to tap in for birdie.
So Morgan, we talked about this earlier. 5 3-putts over the first 36 holes, but none today. And now she's taking off. Grace Kim made it there to Tiburon last year
but at that moment, trying to climb this leaderboard, that one hurts.
Grace Kim at 15.
Going with the 8 iron. This looks pretty nice as well. And boy, they've worked themselves out of the doldrums, haven't they?
Grace and Allie both made bogey at the par 5 10th, but they've turned it on in the last half hour. Kim leads by 1. Grace Kim with a putt for her 4th 2 of the day.
I like the way that sounds. I'm sure she would too. But this putt to me looks a little dicey. It's downhill with some right to left movement, and it just feels, Morgan, like it could get away from you quickly.
Yeah, it's one where if it falls in, there's a bonus. Not surprised to see her leave that short, but right in the heart.
I just think she must have just felt it and saw the line. She felt so confident she gave it that little extra hit, but it still had that speed going by the hole because the low part of the green is towards the front.
And suddenly, Grace Kim has a little wiggle room. 3-putt at the 71st hole. A lot of golf to play. Father's Day finish tomorrow. Grace Kim on the tee at the 16th.
This is a cute little hole. Hard dog leg left. Wind slightly hurting from the right. There's a hidden bunker, fairway bunker on the left at the turn of the dog leg. And she's aiming at the scoreboard down in the distance. Fairway tilts a bit left to right.
Yeah, really good looking swing. She looks very solid today. Doesn't look phased by being in this position. I know it's only Saturday, but
Maybe not where they find. Well, that's how close they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same distance. I think Grace may go first because Allie's stance may get a little too close to Grace's ball. As I say that, great. It looks like Allie is actually coming in. They both have 115 yards, 89 to the front, 26 paces on. Usually put the hole towards the back of the screen.
Hill, whole location all the way in the back. Can't see anything from where they are. Pick a spot on the top of the trees, maybe a branch or a high point.
I think they might be.
Good look there for birdie. Opportunity to post, and she'll have a chance tomorrow, no question.
Now Grace.
And do you see that little stamp on her golf ball? It's an avocado. She has a little toy avocado hanging from her golf bag as well. Why? She loves avocados. And who doesn't?
Who doesn't? I was gonna say, who doesn't, Kay?
Oh, she's gonna love that.
Really good judge of distance control. Let's see the avocado on the back. There it is. Little Winnie the Pooh too.
Oh,
Love it.
Honey, little avocado, natural fat, natural sugar. Fun talking to Kari Webb last week at the ShopRite LPGA Classic. Kari played, and she talked about how the Aussies
got pretty good fundamentals with their putting. And putting is so personal in terms of how you approach, what your stroke is like, your posture, the length of your putter. And then it just comes down to good old-fashioned confidence and feeling comfortable and believing that the ball is going to go in the hole, even when it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to seeing the pace, seeing the speed that the ball is going to go in the hole, being more of an artist. And, I mean, your speed determines everything. Speed determines your line. So those who have the best speed, no matter what the stroke looks like, no matter what putter they use, but those who can really depend on their speed are the ones who are going to make the most putts and be the most confident.
This putt's going to pull down to the right. How much depends on that speed.
It's been really impressive. 5 3-putts over 36 holes today. Grace Kim has poured them in, especially on the back. And one more. This was, let's see how much this breaks.
Yeah, her putting stroke has looked really solid. Starting, those left to righters have the tendency to fall away, and he's trying to help them break, but she really did a great job keeping that down on her line.
Well, this was a very bunched up leaderboard. We had a dozen players within a couple of shots of each other. Now it's Grace Kim by 3. She's birdied 3 of her last 4 holes, and now another challenging tee shot at the 17th.
It sure is. This fairway tilts quite a bit left to right. It's very easy to just slightly miss your drive right and end up bounding down into the trees in the rough. 265 yards to the left bunker. Picking up the tee quickly
Oh, we talk about her putting and all the putts that she's made, but she's just given herself so many chances. She's only missed one green today. Just turning through it a little bit more.
Okay, you said it, and we saw this from Allison Corpuz in the fairway, but not a direct angle to the pin.
No, I think gonna have to play left towards the center of the green. That's a 9-iron. And that was very smart. Beautiful shot. Don't take the flagstick on from that angle.
And then at 16, this was not easy. It's the putt that you always talk about, the left to right putt for a right-hander. And Grace Kim.
Grant, when she won that tournament her rookie year so early in the season at Lotte, that tournament's on the calendar again, but it's been moved down to November, so she's got a long time, almost the entire year, to wait to defend.
That's okay, though, isn't it? You get to soak it in a little more. Yeah,
sure.
She was trailing going into that final round, and she birdied a really difficult 17th hole. The 18th was a par 5 there at Ho'akala. And want to play off with Yu Liu and Yu-Jin Sung, who's now a rookie on the LPGA Tour. At the time, she was a sponsor invite from the KLPGA, but that was in her 3rd start as a member. And now here she is, trying to bounce back from the disappointing weekend just 6 weeks ago in Southern California. This for a 4-shot lead.
Yeah, overall, this is a pretty level putt. Maybe a little bit of left to right turn at the end.
Yeah, just thinking it's a little bit more downhill than it was there, right in the heart. Seen a few players leave that putt short.
Grace has not a gimme by any means, but this to take a 4-shot lead to the 18th. They're going to play in 3s tomorrow. It's a 4 o'clock Eastern time finish. We'll be with you at 1 o'clock on Golf Channel. Then CBS will have the final couple of hours. Kelly Tillman will be joining the crew. Solid. What happened to our nip and tuck close race here? It's a 4 BC on the weekend next weekend at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship from Sahali. Thinking about these two players, Allie had a big lead going to the weekend at Walton Heath last year, a 5-shot lead heading into the 3rd round at the AIG Women's Open. Struggled on the weekend. She could appreciate what Grace went through, and Allie's been out here a long time. 8th season for Allie, a proven winner, Solheim Cup player. And whether you've won before and you're trying to do it again, or you're a young player, it's hard to win. And we've just seen close tournaments can get big leads in a hurry, and those big leads can shrink in a hurry.
Yeah, it's tough to seal the deal, Kay. You've got to really stay patient. You've got to. A lot of times what happens is when you see somebody get a big lead, they change their game. They start to get tentative. It's out of their comfort zone, and they don't play the same type of golf that they played to get them to that point.
No, you have to play hard through the finish line. Grace going with 3 wood. trying to avoid the big obstacle that is the large sand at the corner of this dogleg right, and doesn't feel like she could fly the bunker comfortably with driver.
Yeah, definitely a very safe play there off that tee, laying back short of the bunker, but
she can still get there in 2 off that tee shot. And it looks like Allie's going to do something similar.
Yeah. It's more off the right.
Configures the tee times based on what you shot that day. And so Lexi and Anna with the low.
On 14.
And now Grace.
It looks like she's going with her 5 wood, 210 to the front, 235 to the hole. This is a more lofted 5 wood, a little more like a 7 wood. Hit that beautifully.
And landed softly in that Hoanna run-up area there.
All right, wrapping up round 3.
Expectation, everything that comes with winning is on Grace Kim heading into tomorrow to the final round. And the players that are behind, I mean, we saw it from Allie on the weekend at the U.S. Women's Open. No pressure, go out and basically go for broke. And they all have the opportunity to do it. Players who aren't worried about finishing 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, they're out there to win.
Yeah. Well, heroics to come back and ultimately win in a playoff. So Grace Kim not alone in players who, just as you say, are just a little uncomfortable with the lead. She wears that
Funniest, most gregarious guys you've ever met, and a darn good golfer too. We really miss him. He brought a lot of light to the game.
Luke the Duck, and that's a fundraising effort.
To lay up after 4 tee shots and has the opportunity to pay them both off right here.
And now a 3rd coming up for Grace. And taking away
Grace,
the pressure, Kay, of this moment, just let's say the shot itself, how difficult is it?
what she's facing right now?
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. I mean, she might chip this. I would putt it 25 paces to the hole, essentially a 75-foot shot. Her motion indicates that she's going to chip it. And I think for her, because she's missed some putting from distance, Morgan, that's been her weakness. So she feels more comfortable with a wedge of sorts.
And when you're really putting from long distance off the fringe, if you get that first hop, it ends up coming up woefully short. So trying to avoid that here, looks like it paid off.
Well, she eagled the hole yesterday and darn near did it again today.
It's going to be a putt for a 66 for Grace Kim. And just, what, 90 minutes ago or so, she was tied for the lead with Allison Corpuz. And how close was this? Yeah, she knew it was a good one. That close to being great.
She's gonna have a bit of a restless night tonight.
And she'll either be up by 4 or 5, depends on this short putt for birdie.
And Morgan, that in itself is going to be quite a hurdle to climb. I mean, you know, everyone out here is going to be yelling Lexi's name and be rooting for her. So puts Grace right in the underdog position.
Yeah, which is crazy considering she could have a 5-shot lead, but she's going to have to prepare for that as well. Just another obstacle, but also could take some pressure off of her, knowing that everybody will be cheering very strongly for Lexi. Not that they will, of course, wish any ill on Grace, but just that it will be, you know, playing. Lexi almost has a hometown feel to it this week.
Yeah.
In terms of her support.
for her 7th birdie of the day.
Just really clutch, and she can draw on that. She's played with the big lead here on these last few holes on the back 9 today and looked really solid.
A bogey at the 10th. Bit of a sloppy bogey from a similar spot, actually, in front of the green to that par 5 here in front of the green. Beautiful pitch, and then this to pay it off.
Well, it's the first time I've really seen that today. She actually hovered the putter there behind the ball, relieving a little bit of tension before taking the putter back.